everyone, and welcome to Yarngasm. I'm Kristen, and this is episode 244. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back to the podcast, and if you are a new viewer, welcome to the podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, spinning, hand dyeing yarn, sewing, and making all the things in Brooklyn, New York, where I'm from, and I live with my husband Dennis and our adorable cat Bella. And as always, I'm so happy that you're taking some time out of your day to chat about those things with me. And yes, generally this is a weekly podcast. I like to podcast once a week, but because it's summer, life happens, things are constantly going on, and it seems like it's turning into a bi-weekly podcast, but just for the summer. Hopefully when the weather starts to get cooler and everyone just starts to hibernate and nobody wants to do anything anymore, this will turn into, once again, a weekly podcast. But yeah, just lots going on. Last week, if you tuned in to the last episode, Dennis and I we vacationed in Cape Cod again. Dennis's family has a house up in Cape Cod, and we vacation there quite frequently during the summer, and last week was our week to have the whole house to ourselves. So it was a much needed vacation. I'm relaxed, it's all good, and I'm back. Happy to be back with you chatting, and I'll talk more about Cape Cod throughout the episode and in the blather segment at the end of the episode, because it's life, and I'm sure there are many of you here for the knitting and the crafting and the making. So yeah, but anyway, before I get into what I've been making this week, just a couple of administrative things and announcements and knit-along stuff. So quickly, I'm going to pop on the screen where you can follow me on social media. As always, I'm most active on Instagram. I'm at Voolenvine on there, and on Ravelry, I'm Voolenvine as well. And the best way to get in touch with me if you have a question about the podcast is to email me. Email is the best way to get in touch. I cannot stress that more. Is contact@voolenvineyarns.com. And if you haven't already, please hop on over to Ravelry and join the Yarngasm Ravelry group. It's the place to chat about every episode, ask questions, share your projects, your whips, partake in our knit-alongs, and enter to win prizes for said knit-alongs. So it's a lively, happening, fun place to be. So without further ado, some announcements. Do I have any announcements? Yeah. Voolenvine Yarns is currently in the process, my hand-dyed yarn company is currently in the process of moving into its new dye studio, which happens to be my basement. So we recently acquired the space back. We had been renting out the space to a tenant, and once they announced that they were leaving and they were moving, I was like, I'm taking over the space as my dye studio. It's the perfect situation. If you've been following along, I've been using our home kitchen as my dye studio basically, and it's just been every day, just a whole cacophony of breaking up, setting up, and breaking down, cleaning everything, and that's a huge chunk out of my day. So anyway, having a dedicated dye studio will give me back so much more time, and not to mention, it's just, who doesn't want their own dye studio? I do. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome, and I know many of you thank you so much to everybody who's congratulated me. I cannot tell you how excited I am. So and yeah, there will be a tour. Don't worry, I'm still setting stuff up, so there will be a tour at some point. I will video it and everything, and edit it and whatever. Yes, there will be a tour. So but yeah, I've just been having a lot of fun decorating and just getting acclimated throughout the week. It's been a little crazy, but yeah, I'll talk more about that throughout the episode, but just to give you a quick announcement about that. And then knit-alongs, we have lots of knit-alongs happening, so I will talk about that as well throughout the episode. But we have some giveaways that I'm excited to announce, so if you would like to enter to win some freebies from the podcast, just as a thank you, for watching, we have two giveaways, so very excited about that. And the first one is Mina Phillip, who is, quite frankly, I think the woman is a pattern designing machine. I feel like every single month she has at least one pattern, if not two, maybe more, patterns that she's released. So if you're not familiar, she has the New York City Collection sock pattern club that's happening right now, but then she also, on top of that, released a new pattern called the Color Blender Scarf and Wrap. So she has generously donated a copy of the pattern to one of you lovely viewers. So I will create a thread in the Yarngasm Ravelry group where you can hop on over and leave a comment. I will leave a prompt for you, like a fun question. I came up with one question, but I was like, yeah, I want to come up with something a little more clever and fun. So just hop on over there after this is published. There will be something fun for you to answer and enter to win that prize. And I will draw a winner next week and announce the winner in the next episode. So thank you so much again, Mina. It's a beautiful pattern. I will, of course, pop a picture of the shawl here so you can see for yourself. But yeah, it's definitely the same vein as the fades that are happening. There are lots of fade alongs and all the fades are happening. And there is a chainsaw, as usual, outside my window. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go shut the window because I can't deal. And we're back. Okay, and so anyway, thank you so much again, Mina. Hop on over to that thread and check it out. So the next giveaway that we have is from Ellie of Skander Knits, which again is a wonderful podcast you should totally check out. We are actually co-hosting it along, which I'll get into later. But she has also generously donated a subscription to her Selbu Mitten Club. You guys, yeah, you want in on this because her aesthetic for color work is just, yeah. She's awesome. She's awesome. So thank you so much, Ellie. And again, I will, of course, create a thread in the Yarngasm Ravelry group. Hop on over there, answer the prompt. And I think for this one, I had a little fun with this one. So the prompt for that will be a would you rather question. Oh yeah, I'm going there. So if you would like to enter to win a subscription to Ellie's Selbu Mitten Pattern Club, answer this question. Would you rather pumpkin spice or apple cider? Yeah, it's a toughie. Or it might be easy for you, because I know some people are full on board with the pumpkin spice thing, and then there are some of you who just won't have it. But anyway, I'm curious to know, would you rather pumpkin spice or apple cider? Apple cider donuts are a thing too. I don't know. Anyway, I'm in rare form today, guys. I've had my caffeine and I'm raring to go, and there's like so much that I have to do today. It's crazy. But anyway, those are our giveaways. Thank you so much again to Ellie and Mina. And I'm looking forward to seeing your answers and your replies. And yay! Giveaways. Giveaways are always fun. So there's that. Okay, and then the other knit along, I feel like I'm jumping all over the place. But yes, there's a knit along that it's that time of year. If you are familiar if you've been keeping up with the podcast for a while now, you might recall that Laura of Jinx Yarns and the Dyer's Notebook podcast and I co-hosted a knit along last year for the Exploration Station. And we decided, let's make this a yearly thing because we're such good friends. And it's fun. So yes, it's that time of year again where we have the annual Voolenvine Yarns, Jinx Yarns, or Dyer's Notebook, Yarngasm knit along. So we did not plan to do another Stephen West pattern, but it just so happened that we fell in love with the same pattern. It is the Marled Magic Shawl, and he was having a sale, which has now ended. But anyway, we were both kind of like browsing the patterns on sale together, and we both just agreed, like, yeah, we want to knit the Marled Magic Shawl, so let's do that as our knit along. So yes, it is the second annual Jinx / Voolenvine or Yarngasm / Dyer's Notebook knit along, and we will have threads in our respective podcast groups. So join in the fun. It'll be a lot of fun because Stephen West patterns are a lot of fun. So yeah, very excited about that. That is a 2-month knit along kicking off September 1st through October 31st. So it's a 2-month knit along, plenty of time. I'm excited, Laura's excited, and we hope you are excited as well. So okay, I think that is it for announcements, knit along news, and I apologize if I seem like I am scatterbrained right now. But anyway, it's a lot of information to get out, and I am a week out of practice, so there you go. Okay, so that said, I am gonna move along to finished objects because you guys, I've been a busy lady. I did not work at all last week, so I had all the knitting time in the world, kind of, sort of. So when you go on vacation, you bring quite a few projects with you, and 9 out of 10 you only work on 1 or 2 of those things, if I'm not mistaken. So, but yeah, I brought all the things with me because clearly there is no way to pack for vacation, because I am that type of person where I need variety, I need options. I'm the same way with clothes. I need to bring all the things with me so I can, but anyway, I only chose 2 patterns to work on, excuse me, while I was there. So first finished object, I think I shared this with, I did share this with you last week, but on a whim, I cast on a pair of vanilla socks like you do. And these are Knit Picks Felici in the steamer trunk colorway. And they're done. So yeah, what do I want to say about these? I love this colorway so much. Of course, mauve is happening in there, and it's just so, it's so steampunky, and I love it. And yeah, what do I have to say about these? I don't know. I guess let's talk about the pattern that I used. I've been receiving a lot of questions about like my go-to plain, when I say vanilla socks, I mean plain socks, like just basic stockinette everyday socks that you can just have a recipe and go to in it. So I have been using my favorite socks pattern, which is a free download. I created a pattern for it and everything, so you can just hop on over to Ravelry and download it if you want. But yeah, I basically use that recipe, that stitch count formula that I have on there, so 64 stitch cast on. The only thing I did different was just a 2x2 rib, and then I replaced the heel cuff, the heel flap and gusset heel with the Fish Lips Kiss heel. That has just been my go-to heel lately. So, and the Fish Lips Kiss heel is a paid-for pattern. I believe it's only $1 on Ravelry, but, and you only, while it's like I believe it's like an 18-page pattern, but you only need 1 or 2 pages from that pattern. The rest is all theory and explanation, and I don't understand why it's so long, but anyway, you really only need 1 page out of that pattern. But the Fish Lips Kiss heel has been my go-to heel as of late. So, and yeah, just a plain heel, just a plain toe decrease and Kitchener stitch toe. So yeah, Felici, I love Felici. It's such a fun instant gratification type of knit when it comes to knitting socks, because self-striping yarn in general is just one more stripe, and yeah. But I will say, like, while Felici is super soft, I found that it is, I don't know, maybe because I've been practicing my continental knitting on this quite a bit. They are quite loose. I will be honest, I have not tried these on yet. Yeah, but they do feel a little loose. They blocked loosely around my sock blockers, which I purchased these from theloopyu.com. Yeah, I get asked quite a bit about where I get these sock blockers from, but yeah, they're from theloopyu.com if you are curious. But they did block a little loosely around them. I'm sure they fit me fine. If not, if they're too loose, they're going to dentist. So yeah, that is one finished object. I have not cast on a new pair of socks yet. I have to go stash diving, but I know for a fact I want to cast on a pair of Towness socks by Becky of the Stringing It Together podcast, because that has been on my, I feel like everyone's knitting those right now, and those have been on my to knit list forever. So those are probably going on my needles next. Yay. And we have a cat. Hey Bella, you want to say hello? No. No. Yeah, anyway. She's been acting kind of funky. Yesterday I was skeining yarn at the top of the stairs, and we have a staircase in our house, and she was at the base of the stairs. She was looking at me, and I called her to come up, and then she just did like some kind of crazy move where she tripped and fell on the stairs. It was really sad. She's okay, but I think she had a misstep and hurt her little hind paw, and she's not like seriously limping, but I can tell like she injured herself in some minor way, and she's just been like walking and then falling, like, oh, life is so hard, I can't move. But yeah, she's fine, trust me. Yeah, she doesn't seem like she's in any pain. She's playing and whatnot. But anyway, she's been extra clingy. So yay, 1 pair of socks down. I believe that is pair 6 for my box of socks. I am so far behind, it is crazy. So, but yes, next up, finished object. This one I am super excited about. And you're probably tired of me talking about it, but it's my Love You Baby shawl, a awesome pattern by Suzanne Sommer of So Sue Knits. And I was watching Christy Glass Knits, and she knit the same pattern, and I have to agree with her. Like every time I want to say Suzanne Sommer's name, I want to say Suzanne Summers from Three's Company and the Thigh Master commercials, if you're not familiar with her. But anyway, totally different person. But yeah, it's very tempting to say Suzanne Summers, but no, it's Suzanne Somers of So Sue Knits, who is a pattern designer and creates awesome patterns. So yeah, she designed this specifically for Do You Knit, which is an amazing LYS or not local to me, but I love visiting there when I can, and I do trunk shows there occasionally. But she designed this specifically for Do You Knit, and it's the Love You Baby shawl, and it incorporates all sorts of awesomeness, including brioche, 3 colorways, and has seed stitch in there, has garter stitch in there. Words cannot describe how awesome it is. I will say the first section was a challenge. I actually had to start over from scratch because I just totally lost track of where I was. My stitch count was off, and I just decided to scrap it and start from scratch, and so glad I did. And yeah, so this first section here is all brioche, and it's you have to definitely, while it's a simple increase decrease situation, you just have to keep track of the alternating rows of increases and decreases, which can get kind of confusing. So anyway, if you have the spreadsheet that if you go over to the Do You Knit Ravelry group, there's a spreadsheet that you can download, and it definitely helps in keeping track of which row you are, where you have to increase and decrease and the like. So anyway, but here it is. I love it. It is, how do I want to wear this? I have no idea how I want to wear it. I'm probably gonna wear it like this during the winter, or when it starts to get cooler. Again, totally out of my comfort zone. The colorways are just crazy, but I have to admit, I've always wanted to knit a crazy colorway shawl, if that makes any sense. But the yarn is hedgehog fibers. I purchased this at my last trunk show at Do You Knit. So I guess I'll stand up and I'll show you. So the main colorway on this side is juniper, which is kind of like this gray with like pops of neon and black, and it's just a really beautiful speckled neutral color, neon speckled neutral color, if that makes sense. And on this side, you can probably see it better here because this is fly right here. And then here I used Hush, which is a really awesome, I love it the way it looks on this side. So I will admit, I was playing a bit of yarn chicken towards the end because I did have to frog the brioche from the first time that I tried knitting it, and I probably lost some yardage in there at some point because either it got tangled or whatever. There was some yardage loss. But you know, I really couldn't tell. I did as much as I could, and then for the bind off, I believe she calls for like alternating I-cord bind off, which sounds complicated, but it's not. You're really just alternating between 2 colorways. I just opted for a solid color bind off or like just a solid, using 1 colorway for the I-cord bind off. So I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I love the shawl. It's so awesome. I can knit another. I want to knit another in like more muted tones maybe. Yeah, I think that'll happen. But anyway, yay, it's done. It's done, it's done, it's done. And yeah, I entered it into the Do You Knit Ravelry group knit along thread. So it's rare that I do that, but I don't know, like I find it really hard to keep up with certain knit alongs. I'm terrible at my own knit alongs, so anyway, it's done. Very happy with it. I love it. Definitely check out the Love You Baby shawl if you are into knitting brioche and all the colors. But yeah, it calls for 3 colorways. It is awesome, and yeah, I guess that's all I can say about it. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I wanted to say about it? Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. Yay, finished object. 2 finished objects. That's so rare that that happens on this podcast. But yeah, I think because I'm realizing that I am a shawl knitter and I'm knitting more shawls, I'm getting more done. So yay. It's good to know yourself. So anyway, and it's getting super hot, so I'm taking this off right now. So that is it for finished objects. I'm gonna move on to works in progress. So let me talk about, okay, so Doily Brigade. If you've been following me for the past couple of episodes, I have been talking about wanting to crochet all the doilies. Yeah, dabbling in the dark arts, which I love to call crochet because I don't crochet much very often at all. And I did purchase a set of tulip crochet, or doily, I believe they're, what are they, lace? I don't know, but they're very fine tipped crochet hooks, and these are amazing. And I don't have a doily finished for you, but I did dabble in some doiliage while I was up in Cape Cod. And I don't know, I'm very hard on myself because I want to get this right. I really want to get good at making these things, but it's still kind of like a new to me process. Here's, well, let me show you the pattern. So a wonderful viewer I'm sorry, I'm blanking on your name, but you linked to this vintage crochet site that has all these free vintage crochet doily patterns. Amazing. And I stumbled on this one. It's kind of like a pineapple something. I will link to it in the show notes. But yeah, this is what it looks like. And here is what I have so far. It's not going to want to focus, but anyway, yeah, there we go. And this is Curio by Knit Picks. It's their cotton thread, crochet thread, I want to say. So yeah, I'm still a little green when it comes to crocheting very fine thread and lace. My gauge is slightly off, and there are some uneven stitches in here, which is what is hindering me from actually completing a doily, because I get one started and I get really into it, and then I realize my gauge is slightly off, so then I scrap the whole thing together, or I put it down, I'm like, all right, I'll come back to it, and then I come back to it, and then I'm like, oh, it's not perfect, which is crazy. I shouldn't be like that, but this one I think is okay. I should probably finish it. I've come so far, but yeah, anyway, I'm being irrationally hard on myself when it comes to crocheting these. But yeah, the Doily Brigade is a very casual crochet along. If you would like to join, we are all sharing patterns and our, doilies that we're knitting or crocheting, and I don't know, it's a very casual knit along, or I keep saying knit along, crochet along. So if you want to hop on the bandwagon, feel free to do so. Lots of inspiration in there and the like. So yay, doily. And I forgot what colorway this was. Victorian, because yeah, mauve is my bag. I love mauve so much. This should just be like called the Mauve Knitting. I should change the podcast name to just the Mauve Knitting Podcast or something like that, because that's all I talk about. It's my favorite color, mauve. I don't know how it happened, but anyway. Okay, so moving along. The Damyaka Lopa knit along, which I am co-hosting with Ellie of Skinder Knits, is still underway. As I mentioned, we do not have an end date in sight because it is a super casual knit along, but we are knitting the Damyaka Lopa cardigan, or the Ladies Flea cardigan by Pinay Gori. And here's where I am. I have not made much progress on it since I last showed it to you. Honestly, I have probably knit 2 rows into the yoke. I don't know if you can see that. But there we go. And I'm barely working. I didn't bring this with me to Cape Cod, but I still love working on this. It is such a fun, simple, it seems complicated, but really it's like you're just working with 2 strands of yarn each row. And it's just been such a joy to knit. So I'm finally sitting down and hunkering down on it and putting some more rows into it. I'm almost done with the yoke chart, and then from there it's splitting off the sleeves and then working on the body, and that's just 2 colors until I get to the cuffs and the edging, the hem of the cardigan. So really loving it. And I'm using Jameson Spindrift, which is 100% Shetland wool. And oh my gosh, you guys. I love this wool so much. It seems a little scratchy, but I understand when you block it, it just kind of blooms and softens up. And I believe I'm using how many colors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 colors, I believe, in this yoke right here. So, but yeah. And I would say the most challenging thing is keeping the yarns from tangling. But other than that, it's just been a real joy to knit. And I switched needles. I've been trying the Lykke driftwood knitting needles. And oh my gosh, you guys, I'm in love. I am so in love with these needles. Right next to High Sharps. I love High Sharps, but these are an equal contender when it comes to switching between metal and wood. The Lykke driftwoods are so awesome. I love it. And they like the Shetland wool just kind of glides across them. They're very different from the bamboo. I feel like the bamboo, like clovers, which are perfect. They have their place and they work fine. I love using clover bamboo needles with, especially with single merino. They just have like this special grip to them. But these, I don't know, something about these needles just have the way that they're made. It's just, I love them. And the joins are perfect. I cannot say enough about the joins on these things. They're Lykke Buttah. Yeah, I went there. I said, I've just been, that's how I've been describing them. They're Lykke Buttah. Oh my gosh, yeah. I've had way too much caffeine today. But anyway, Damyaka Lopa, loving it, highly recommend it. Join in the knit along, it's a lot of fun. And it's living in my Toad Hollow bag, which I also purchased from Do You Knit at one of my trunk shows. It's awesome. So, okay. I think that is it for works in progress. I have not worked on anything else, unfortunately. I know I have a couple of other whips that are underway, but I have not touched them, unfortunately. But hopefully, once summer starts winding down, I'll be able to pick them up again. So anyway, I'm going to move along to stash enhancement because I do have quite a bit to share with you. But since I was talking about, hang on. Since I was talking about Lykke needles, I treated myself to something. And I'm sure you can guess what they are. Just a little studio warming gift to myself. I treated myself to, yeah, an interchangeable set of Lykke needles. Is that how you say it? Lykke? Lykke driftwood? Anyway, they come in this really awesome pouch. And you guys, oh, they are gorgeous. I am so in love with these, you guys. It goes from a size, US size 4, which are 3.25 millimeter, and then goes all the way up into US size 17, which is a 12 millimeter needle. So I don't recall the last time I needed to knit with US 17s, but anyway, it's nice to have. And they are just so well made, and the quality is impeccable, and they come with cords, lots of cords and keys and everything. And again, the joins on these compared to the fixed circulars, which I just showed you on the Damyaka Lopa, they're fine. I love them. They're on the size 4s are currently on another project, which I can't talk about right now because it's a design, it's a secret. But yeah, the joins are perfect on those as well. So if you're in the market, highly recommend this. And I got these on Amazon, so if you are looking for them, they are available on there, surprisingly. So as for other acquisitions, while we were in Cape Cod, I made a point to stop off and visit some of my favorite yarn shops out there. And the first one was P-Town Pearl, which is in Provincetown, Massachusetts, or Provincetown, Cape Cod. And I had gone for the first time last year. I believe they're celebrating their first full year in business, so congrats, Ryan, if you're watching. I don't know if you are, but anyway, it was great to see Ryan again, who owns the shop. And yeah, if you're ever out there, definitely check it out. It's a tiny but mighty local yarn shop, and yeah, they have some basic yarns. I believe they have Wool in the Gang. They have Molly Girl yarns. They have I believe it's 3 Ravens, or I can't remember the name. But anyway, something Ravens yarn. And he just has like a whole bunch of very interesting curated selection of hand dyers and basic yarns as well. or workhorse, I shouldn't say basic yarns, but like workhorse yarns, I should say. And while I was there this time, he has actually had a special colorway that he collaborated with Molly Girl. So Molly Girl and P Temporal collaborated on a colorway, and she dyed up this colorway, really gorgeous colorway to match his logo. I don't know if you can see. Let me see. There you go. So here's her logo. Molly Girl yarn. And it's her baseline, and here you can see his logo, and the colorway is called Water's Edge, and it matches perfectly. I could not resist getting a skein for myself. So, and yeah, and I had actually gone to a trunk show. I had met Angela, the dyer behind Molly Girl Yarn, at Woolen last year. She had a trunk show there, so I was really excited to see that he had some of her her colorways in stock as well. So treated myself to a skein of this, and these will be my Cape Cod socks for 2017. I don't know, I should cast these on very soon, but anyway, no, maybe I'll hang on to it and let it marinate a little bit. But anyway, that was one acquisition, and then I stopped off at A Great Yarn in Chatham, and it's hilarious. My in-laws, hi Carol and Ron, I know you're watching. So they visit there quite often when they visit Cape Cod, and you know, I know they chat a lot with the owners, and so, but they had mentioned that they get a lot of customers who actually watch the podcast. So thank you so much for being a fan and letting them know about my podcast. But he mentioned that that they sometimes play my podcast while they have knit nights over there, which is really awesome to hear. So hello if you're watching. But yeah, it was really great to chat with them a little bit, and I came away with some really yummy yarns. They have quite a bit of local, P-Town Pearl also has some local stuff, but this actually caught my eye while I was there. They work with a lot of local farms, like alpaca farms and sheep farms, and yeah. This is coming up a little more spring green and yellow on camera, but it's definitely like a yellow green, like a bright olive green, and it is so soft and so beautiful. It's 70% baby alpaca and 30% silk, and this is from Biltmore Wool Barn, and it's in Brewster, Massachusetts, which is very close by. And each skein has 310 yards, 4 ounces, and I believe it's like a DK to worsted weight. I don't know, it might want to become a void shawl. It might just have to become a void shawl. I want to say this is worsted weight. Yeah, it really doesn't say on here what it is, but it had to come home with me. So very, very pleased with my purchase. I love doing that. Like anytime I go on vacation or somewhere and I go to a yarn shop, I always ask for the local yarn, because I feel like that is such an awesome souvenir to take back at the very least. So they had 2 skeins of this left in this colorway. I had to get both. So I think it'll become the void shawl. It's so soft. But here's, I don't know if I showed you their logo. And there's no colorway name on it at all. So it's just whatever colorway you want to call it. There's no number. I feel like this is a one of a kind. I don't know. So yeah, those are my stash acquisitions for this week. I've been a little naughty. I was trying not to go crazy with sorry, there's fluff flying around. Not trying to go too crazy with the yarn buying, but you know, when presented with yarny goodness, I sometimes can't resist. So anyway, yeah, okay, so I'm gonna move along to sewing. Not that I have much to share with you aside from that little number in the back. I don't know if you can see. I don't have my big light. My big light is actually down in the basement right now. So it can't really highlight the stuff that's in the background, but I don't know if you can see that, but that is the double gauze fabric that I had purchased when I was in Nyack. And it's just like a very basic plum. It's like a really nice maroon plum color, but it has like all these little twinkly stars over it. It's not metallic, it's just like the print that's on it. But I'm kind of kicking myself for doing that because I was just really craving a quick, easy sewing project, and I had this pattern in my stash and I got a little cocky, I will admit. I had this I had this pattern in my stash, and I wanted to make this version right there. What did I write on here? I probably made a note to myself about the pattern, and then I didn't follow the note on the pattern. Anyway, but yeah, this version right here, version A, and then I was going to hack it a little bit by taking the straps from the Gertie pattern that I made to make some like spaghetti straps. And I messed those up royally because double gauze is a very delicate, once it's sewn together, it's very strong, but the edges of double gauze, they fray very easily, and I was using that long stick to turn the tube inside out for the straps, and I totally destroyed it. And sewing the edges to the bra, what do you call it, those little hooks or the slides for the bra strap adjustment things, it was a nightmare. So I only had 2 yards of fabric, and I actually ran out. I didn't have enough to cut out another set of strips for the straps to do it over again. So I think what I'm going to be doing is taking some black bias tape or some similar bias tape and kind of like sewing like an edging along the neckline, an edging along the neckline, because it is a strapless dress, and then using that bias tape to make mock straps, if that makes sense. I might copy Casey from the Creative Musings podcast. She made these little tie straps, which I thought was really clever. So we'll see what happens. I'm still kind of making it work, as Tim Gunn would say. But I really want this to work out, and I think I made the waist a little too long, so I'm gonna be pulling that up as well. But anyway, that's currently on Margot. My bust is, my dress form is currently modeling that dress. And then she's also wearing the lovely shawl that Tracy had generously sent to me. It is the Fairy Hill shawl by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade Designs, and she had knit the pattern out of my yarn, which is Angry Orchard, and she had kindly sent me the sample that she knit, and thank you so much again, Tracy. I think it goes very beautifully with that dress, by the way. So anyway, I thought I'd put that together for you guys. But anyway, yeah, so this was Butterick B443 View A that I'm making. It has a couple of other cute little variations, but this one was my favorite, and I kind of wanted to make it happen with some spaghetti straps. So just a simple, I can fix it. I can make it work. Next up on the sewing docket, we have the Violet pattern by Colette. And I'm gonna have to make a muslin of this because, yeah, it's gonna be way too big. I know for sure the finished garment measurements. Again, I'm a 32-inch bust, and the finished bust measurement is a 35, and I can just imagine what the waist is. Anyway, I'm gonna have to take it in a little bit. Muslin is definitely going to be happening, possibly a small bust adjustment. The cool thing is, as I mentioned a couple weeks ago, my friend, who is an awesome sewist, fashion designer, is coming over this weekend. She was supposed to come over a couple weekends ago, but she wasn't feeling well, so we rescheduled. But she's coming over this weekend, and I might have her, I don't know, I'm gonna make a muslin first, but I might have her give me like a crash course on buttonholes just to get that technique down, because I'm still a little wavy gravy on the buttonhole situation. But the plan is to make it out of this gorgeous Liberty fabric that I purchased from fabric.com. So I'm gonna make it with this fabric. All the mauve flowers, and it's just so beautiful. I love this so much. So anyway, it's gonna be out of this, and then I'm gonna have like a black Peter Pan collar. Someone mentioned piping, black piping along the edges. Maybe, but a black Peter Pan collar and at least some black pearl buttons going down the front. We'll see, but anyway, very excited. So yes, oh, and I will be making version A with the short sleeves. So yeah, that is it for sewing. No other major developments. So there's that. And then I also want to make another Gertie dress, that the one with the spaghetti straps I talked about. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I think that is it. I need a coffee break, you guys. And I kind of want to show off this mug that I got. Like, how awesome is that mug? I got this from a Christmas tree shop in Cape Cod. They have the best mugs. If you're familiar with Christmas tree shops, they always have an awesome like mug section, wine glass section. I'm kicking myself for not getting more of these, but I just love it. Look at his belly. Just has kind of like a Scandinavian look to it. I don't know, but anyway, and there's just coffee in here. So good. Anyway, so yeah, that's my mug, and I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, so I think that is it for stash, blah, blah, blah. Okay, shop update, because I'm having a shop update tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let me go get the yarn that I will have in store. Okay, so yes, I will be having a shop update tomorrow, Friday, August 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope you can make it as usual. And yeah, this week is a little interesting. As you know, I have been moving my dye studio from my kitchen area and this area all down into the basement unit. And it's been a process, and I'm just getting acclimated. I'm waiting for some more furniture and more equipment to show up, and I'll talk more about that in Blather, but yeah, just getting situated. I had a list of colorways that I was going to dye, like my usual colorways, you know, just that I had planned out, and I kind of decided that, you know what, I'm gonna scrap the schedule and let myself play a little bit, because I feel like when I let myself play a little bit, that's when new colorways happen, and that's when I get to get, you know, it's the creative process, my friends. So I have a couple of interesting free swims this week, along with some new colorways. And you know, some that I'm not too sure I want to keep as new, but we'll see how they do, see how you like them. But yeah, let me share with you what I have. This is actually from last week. I thought I had listed them, but for some reason, apparently they didn't make it into the shop. And I don't normally, I go through everything and I double check everything, but somehow these slipped by and I don't know how they didn't make it into the shop. But I have some Stardust on Narwhal left, and those are actually in the shop right now. After I was done packing and shipping orders, I just popped them into the shop. I didn't announce it at all. So they are currently in the shop for sale if you would like to jump on these before the shop update. But anyway, Stardust on Narwhal, if you can see that, will be in the shop. So there's that. And then this is a one-of-a-kind colorway that I dyed up. Well, I'm calling this a walk on the moors, just because it reminds me of the moor, just so foggy and green, and I don't know. I did not write the formula down for this, but it's beautiful nonetheless, and I kind of want to keep it for myself, but I've got plenty of yarn to work through, so it's going in the shop. And this is on my Narwhal base. I only have 2 of these, so it's a 70-20-10 Superwash Blue Face Luster, Silk, and Cashmere. And my throat is going. And then this is also a free swim colorway that I was playing with. I really kind of want to make this a regular, maybe tweaking it just ever so slightly, but I call this one Plume. And it's just like this really pretty burgundy, pinky something. I don't know, but it's beautiful. And this is on my Volca base, Merino Nylon Cashmere. And this is also a free swim colorway. I'm calling this one Happy Camper, just because there are like so many like woodsy colorways in there, and then like this subtle speckle of caution orange. It just reminded me of a Happy Camper, so yay, free swim. And then this is another free swim. Lots of free swims today, guys. So I'm calling this Green Tide. Just kind of, it reminds me of a green low tide, you know, like some subtle speckles in there. So yeah. And we have one on Volca, and then we have one on Narwhal. So there's that. I call this one Chaos, and it's super bright and super red and orange and pink. It has some like little darker burned areas, not physically burned, but you know, darker, like a burnt orange colorway going throughout. So I thought that was really fun for autumn. So let me know what you guys think. Should it be a keeper? Should it not be? A little out of my comfort zone, but I was having fun when I dyed it up. So there's that. And then, which I'll talk more about in Blather, but if you follow the last podcast, I talked about a book series that I was reading called A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I am obsessed, you guys. I've just finished the series, and now I don't know what to do with myself. I want to reread it. I really want to reread it, but I'm forcing myself to take a little break, but to kind of, you know, deal with the fact that I'm done with the series and I'm not sure if they're coming out with any more books for the series, I just took it upon myself to dye some colorways inspired by the series. So let me go get those. So I dyed 2 colorways inspired by my favorite characters in the book, Rhysand and Feyre. So here they are, and this one is Rhysand, because yeah, if you read the book, you'll understand why it's so dark and gothy and awesome, and I love it. And this is on my Blitz base. And then Feyre. I just really love the way these turned out. So, yeah, I want to make all the things with this right now. I have no idea what to make, but I want to keep a couple skeins for myself and maybe make a shawl design or something based on the series. I don't know. I'm totally fandoming out right now. I really can't remember the last time I geeked out over a book like this, except for Outlander. Yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, anyway, again, more about that in Blather. But oh yeah, here's more. This is Rhysand, also on Narwhal. So I will have these on Narwhal, Volca, Blitzed, and Nouveau. So yeah. Anyway, very happy with the way they turned out. And yeah, that's all I have to show you right now. There will be some more dyeing happening today and tomorrow as usual, but that's all I have dyed up for the shop today. I will have more. I have a couple of skeins of Pandora in stock, so I'll have that as well. But otherwise, yeah, shop update tomorrow, again at August 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you can make it. And there's a motorcycle outside. But anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna move along to Blather, which is a segment where I chat about what's been happening in my life in general, should you care to stick around and hear about it. So, Blather, yes. Last week, Dennis and I went to Cape Cod. We had the whole house to ourselves. It was wonderful. We got some nice relaxing time in, lots of beach time, lots of hiking, which if you follow the podcast, they're not really my choice of activities to do, especially when I'm on vacation, but you know, it's good to get outside, get some exercise, so Dennis gets me out, which I'm eternally grateful for. So, but yeah, we, you know, I will readily admit, while I was on vacation, I woke up at 6 o'clock pretty much every morning and got me some knitting time in, at least 3 to 4 hours of pure knitting time, because Dennis usually didn't wake up until about 9 or 10 o'clock. So it was just me hanging out, listening to my audiobook and knitting on all the things. So that was really nice. And we took Bella with us, Bella, our cat. Last year, if you have been following the podcast, you might recall that she had a really serious bout of fleas when we took her out there. She never had a problem in the past. I think this is like the 4th year that we took her up with us, but last year was just really bad. She got, you know, we've put flea collars on her, you know, in the past, and our mistake last time, I believe, was not putting on the medicine a week or a couple days before we actually arrived at the Cape. We put it on when we got to the Cape, which was the mistake. But I talked to the vet and she said, you know, get her like either Frontline or Evolution and just put the drops on her back at least, you know, 48 to 24 hours before you get to where you're going, and you should be good. So that's what we did, and she was in the clear. So no fleas to speak of, thankfully. She had a really great time. She was just, you know, they had the whole house to herself as well, so she was, you know, queen of her castle there. So but yeah, we like bring, like, we, you know, if we're going, normally when we go to the Cape, we only go for like a long weekend, and she's fine at home by herself. We leave her with, you know, food and water, and she's fine. But because we were going away for over 5 days, we decided to take her up with us. So yeah, it all worked out really well. And yeah, we had a really great time. So I'm back, really glad to be back in circulation. And getting back to work and working on my dye studio, which is coming together. Yeah, as I mentioned, I'm super excited for the dye studio. And yeah, I've already started working in there and getting acclimated, and I'm there. It's basically, it's a 1-bedroom apartment. So it's a full apartment, you know, it has a bedroom, it has a full-on kitchen, it has a bathroom, and then a main living area. So, but you know, it's not a huge thing by any means, but the front room is going to be my office area where I do all the admin and packaging. And then there's a little area that I'm going to reserve for just general crafty hanging, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun decorating that part, because if this makes sense, like Dennis and I have the whole upstairs to ourselves now, and when you're coexisting with your spouse, you kind of have to compromise on all the decorating and all the furniture and everything. This part, I'm super excited because it's just all gonna be me. It's what I want to, it's how I want to decorate it. It's just going to, yeah, you can see where that's going. So I painted a wall mauve. So there is a mauve wall. And in case you're curious, I showed off the little paint chips last week, and I went with Victoriana. It is the lighter shade of mauve, just because it's a basement unit. While it does get some sunlight, it can get a little dark depending what time of day it is. So that worked out really well. I posted a photo of it on Instagram, so if you're curious, go check it out. And it turns out Tommy who's Dynamite Trujillo and the host of Squirrel Pie Productions, she has a room that's painted the same color in Victoriana. So we are wall twinsies now. Yay! So anyway, she posted a photo of hers on Instagram and totally sold me on it. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm going the Victoriana route. So we have a mauve wall. And I also ordered, because it was on sale, a black chaise lounge. You guys, I'm gonna have a chaise lounge. I've always wanted a chaise lounge, like one of those Victorian style. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. Anyway, it was on sale. It was at Target. I got it on Target, and it's happening. Chaise lounge, mauve, crafty space is happening. Anyway, geeking out way too much. But yeah, that's a little project that I'm working on here and there. I have a desk now, waiting for the chair to show up and everything. But the actual physical dye studio is pretty awesome. So it's like not wall to wall, but I have one wall and like 2 full strips of stainless steel tables with double burners on them. So same amount of burners that I had going on, excluding the actual physical stove. I replaced the physical stove with 2 more double burners, but so I will be able to create the same amount of batches, skeins per batch that I was here, but the idea is to up that production. So instead of dyeing like maybe 3 batches of colorways per day, I might be able to do 4 or 5, because everything will just be there, you know, if that makes sense. So anyway, that's working out very nicely. It was interesting troubleshooting the circuit breaker situation. So we had to run a couple of extension cords throughout. So there's that, and then I have my shelf with all my dyes, and it's just so awesome. But anyway, yeah, more on that later as it progresses. But yes, there will be a tour. I will take you around and show you the space once it's all complete. So very excited about that. And I don't want to ramble on too much because I have a lot of work to do today. But yeah, all right. I also wanted to chat about A Court of Thorns and Roses, because yeah, as I mentioned, I am obsessed. I dyed 2 colorways based on the series, and I really did not want the series to end. And I have been stalking the website, and it turns out she's coming out with a couple of novellas based on the series, and there might be another book coming out. I don't know, but yeah, again, I can't remember the last time I geeked out over a book series like this since, again, Outlander. It was just, I really want to read it again, just because it was so good, and like pick up on all the little details that I missed from the first round of reading it. So anyway, but the cool thing is that the book also, on Audible, they also have a German narration of the book. It's so perfect, because yeah, if you follow the podcast, I've been wanting to teach myself German and learn how to speak the German language, because my grandmother on my mother's side is from Germany, and yeah, it's just something I've always wanted to learn, and how cool is that? Yeah, anyway, I'm geeking out. But yeah, definitely check out, if you love if you love the Hunger Games series, if you love Game of Thrones, if you love fairy tales, and just, you know, dark tales with a little bit of romance scattered in there, definitely check it out. I will say it is a very adult, like, I wouldn't say new adult there are some very graphic, raunchy scenes in there. So if that's not your bag, you might want to skip this one. But yeah, it's not everyone's cup of tea. I'm just putting a full warning out there. It's definitely not for children. It's definitely not young adult. If anything, it's new adult, which is a new to me genre that I've heard, but like, you know. Anyway, you get the idea. Just putting that disclaimer out there. But yeah, so anyway, other than that, we have been watching Game of Thrones, which we've thoroughly been enjoying. But other than that, it's been work. Now I have that Rihanna song stuck in my head. But anyway, I think I'm gonna leave it there and get back to work and see you next week. So happy knitting, and I will see you next time. Bye. To look this up, but it's 55% Lamut, 45% Bomb. Like, oh god, I totally butchered that.